All right, I did some research and I studied and watched some of the biggest YouTubers in the entrepreneurial space to study what they said are the best and most profitable businesses to start this year. I break down all of the different options for you into the most perfect business that you can think of. Let's dive in. You see, a lot of YouTubers and content creators make endless videos sharing all kind of business ideas that show you that they actually make money. They show case studies and stories and examples of people that are actually making money with those businesses. And then we share data and numbers and all sorts of different innovative ideas of businesses that you can start. But does that really lead to the perfect business? And where has that led you? I mean, I guess you're watching this video, so if it led you to the perfect business and you had started it, you wouldn't be watching this video. So in this video, I want to be straight up with you and I want to share with you some insights that some of these other gurus and people out there talking about different businesses to start are not telling you. So in watching some of these other videos, I checked out this person, Natalie Dawson, one of her videos. In there, she talked about businesses like pet care and health and wellness and social media consulting. One of my favorites that I love to watch, and I've actually read his book. Dan Martell talks about chat sales agencies, personal branding agencies, AI automation, coaching and consulting. Then you have Codie Sanchez, right? She talks about buying boring businesses, laundromats, car washes, plumbing businesses, HVAC companies. And honestly, after watching all of those videos, you probably feel more confused than ever. I know that after I watched them, I thought, man, there are all these great business ideas. Which one do I do? Which one do I get started with? I don't want to get this wrong. I want to make sure that I actually get it right and I start the right thing. And then what happens? It starts to create this analysis paralysis and confusion. And it's 2 hours later, you got all of these great business ideas and you've done none of them. And I can totally relate to you. From the ages of 18 to 26, over an 8-year period, I had 9 different failed businesses. I felt confused. I felt overwhelmed. And over that period, none of them did a combined of $100,000 a year in sales. And over the last 8 years, I built a few different businesses. One that I started back in 2017 that did $30,000 in sales, our second month of business. We went to go on and do $470,000 in sales in that business. And then eventually over $2.7 million in sales in that business. And my most recent business, we're approaching here on $3 million in sales. And let me be straight up and tell you what a bunch of these other content creators will not. There is no perfect business. It's all bullshit. It's a lie. Okay, well, that's partially true. The reality is that generalized business advice around different business ideas that are not specific to you are never gonna work. It's never gonna give you the confidence really to move forward and achieve your dreams as an entrepreneur. Why? Because you are a unique individual. You have your own set of skill sets, your own personality, your own strengths, your own weaknesses, and specific goals in your area of life that will drive and help lead you into the direction of what business that actually is the perfect business for you to start and make money with. And so I'll explain more about that in a minute, but first let me describe what the perfect business actually looks like. So number one, it's the business that you actually start. An unexecuted idea is worthless. There's a phrase that says the best ideas can be found in the graveyard. Like, we all have these different ideas and innovations. Right before we're going to bed, we're like, ooh, that could be a business. And then a year later, you find out that someone else stole your idea. They stole the business that you were going to start. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter how great a business plan is. It doesn't matter how booming an industry is. If all you do is consume the information and you never act on it, then the business is worthless. And so what happens is we spend so much time planning and researching and studying and trying to really get the right idea. Why? Because we're so afraid of failure. We're afraid of really just reaching that resistance of when you start a business idea and then it gets hard and it gets tough. And what if it doesn't work? And what if I fail? So I want to make sure to watch all the videos that I can. I want to prepare and I want to study. So that way I know that when I start my business, it's actually going to be the perfect one. And at the end of the day, one of the most powerful phrases that have become really transformational for me in my life and my entrepreneurial journey in achieving some of the business goals that I've had is the idea of progress over perfection. At the end of the day, business is just a journey of really failing forward. What I've learned in my process as an entrepreneur is that failure is the cost of entry. Failing forward and making mistakes is how you learn and you innovate and figure out things as an entrepreneur. So if you're just standing there thinking, hey, this is a great idea, but then it's a month and you haven't done anything about it, well, you're robbing yourself of the opportunity and the experience to actually create the success that you're looking for. The second aspect to the perfect business is solving a problem that you believe in. A lot of people overcomplicate business. Business in its purest form is solving problems. That's it. So what is the problem that you want to solve and that you believe you can actually do good and impact? It doesn't have to be something that you're crazy passionate in. I think that myth is complete bullshit that you need to start a business in something that you're passionate about. It's just not true. Yes, are there people who have gone out there and start businesses in things that they were passionate in? Yeah, but I'll tell you what, a passion can very quickly become a burden if you force yourself to have to make money with it. All of a sudden, something that you enjoyed, that brought you joy, that you could do in your downtime and do for hours and hours, now feels like this pressure and this burden because you've created it into something where you need to make money off of it. And what you are passionate about and that brings you a lot of excitement may not correlate to something that someone wants to pay for and a problem that winds up being solved. I remember starting all these different businesses, the internet marketing business, a clothing line, an ebook publishing business, and a large part of what was fueling my entrepreneurial journey was thinking, how can I just make as much money as possible? I want to be rich one day and I want to have all this nice stuff and travel and do all these things, and so I want to make a lot of money. And that's how, honestly, a lot of these videos that us creators put out, they're all about just making money. How can you make a bunch of money? But at the end of the day, if you lead with solving a problem, your likelihood of actually succeeding with the business goes much higher, because now you're not guessing and just chasing dollar bills. You're thinking, hey, what's a problem that I can solve? And as soon as you're able to solve someone's problem and they have a high belief that you will solve their problem, they will give you money. There's a phrase that you will generally do more for others than you will do for yourself. You'll go farther for others than you will for yourself. And this is what's wrapped up in this concept of choosing a business that solves other people's problems. So I want you to think about right now, like, what's a problem that you can solve? What's something that you're good at or that you're experienced and skilled in, where if you went out right now, that you could solve someone's problem and you feel pretty confident that someone will pay you for that. Number 3 is the business that you actually follow through on. So I remember back in 2015, I used to follow this guy online on YouTube, and he had a blog, and he would break down the different businesses that he would start. He had multiple streams of income. He really promoted this one specific style of business, which was ebook publishing, which was basically writing books and publishing them on Amazon on different topics and writing them under like a pen name, right? And you would have some of the books ghostwritten. Anyways, it was Kindle ebook publishing. And so I paid, I think, $5,000 at the time to join this coaching program on how to learn how to do it. I believed in him saying, hey, this is a great business opportunity. This is the first thing that you should start with. And so what happened? I started the business. I hit a bunch of roadblocks and obstacles. I got discouraged and I thought, I knew this was just another one of those scams. This is just another one of those get rich quick things. Someone trying to take my money. The market's too saturated. It's not going to work. And guess what? I gave up. I quit. Now, were all those things true? Maybe. Were there still people succeeding in that specific business despite all of those things? 100%. Did I? No. And so whether you buy a business or start an AI agency or start a car wash or buy a boring business or start a franchise, at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter. Now, is there a strategy that is more effective in this direction than in that direction? Sure. Tony Robbins would say, if you're running east looking for a sunset, you're going to be running for a long time, right? So this is not just about going willy-nilly, trying all sorts of ideas and pushing through no matter what. There is an effective strategy that will work, but at the end of the day, the best business idea is the one that you actually follow through on. Business is hard. You're going to face obstacles. You're going to wake up one day and completely doubt yourself and want to quit and want to give up. But it's the people that hit those roadblocks and wake up going, I don't know if I could do this anymore. Or I'm just a couple of weeks away from not having the money to pay my team, or whatever it is. It's in pushing through those obstacles on the other side when you see these people that are making millions of dollars and tens of millions of dollars as an entrepreneur. A lot of the times they're not sharing what they've experienced, the pain that they've had to endure in order to get to where they needed to go. The business that I have right now, we're in year 4, halfway through year 4 of the business. If I were to tell you how many times I wanted to quit and wanted to give up, how it was so hard and so painful, it's like definitely like once a week, right? So again, you could find the best business out there, but if you don't actually push through the obstacles and you give up, that business was not good at all. Not for you, at least. All right, number 4 is a business that has the proper demand. So at the end of the day, if everyone is going to rush and start a business into a specific area, then maybe it doesn't make sense for you to start a business in that area, no matter how great of a business someone is saying that is. So if everyone's out there going and starting pet care businesses, and you look it up and you see that there are 100 different pet care companies in your area that do dog grooming and dog walking and pet sitting, and when you call, when you're doing your competitive research, and all of them have a ton of availability, well, it's simple economics, supply and demand. So if you really want to put yourself in the best position to make money and make money right away in a business that you're starting, what you want to do is understand which businesses have the most demand and the least amount of supply. As long as there's demand out there, what happens is you don't even have to be that great or that talented, because there's sufficient enough demand out there for the product and services that you offer. As an example, back in 2017, when I opened my first juice and smoothie franchise, I opened my juice and smoothie franchise and chose a location where there was not a competitor within a 5-mile radius from where we were. So what happened? We opened up and we had people just flooding and flocking to our store. That led to us doing $30,000 in sales our second month in business. And so that entire business, it felt pretty easy and effortless. Was there some hard work involved? Yes, 100%, of course, in every single business. But we were just able to continue to grow our sales and keep having success after success. Now, compare that with my other location in Florida, and when I bought that location as a turnaround opportunity, when I had initially done my research and due diligence, there were only 2 competitors. By the end of that, there were 5 competitors. Yeah, I didn't realize that. That was probably a mistake. And so guess what happened? That business was incredibly difficult to grow because there was so much competition. There just wasn't a lot of demand because there was so much supply. So as you're going out there researching different opportunities, you need to make sure that there is the proper demand for that business. Number 5 is a business that aligns with your skill sets. At the end of the day, you will typically succeed in a business in which you are operating in a way that aligns with what you are already good at. If the business that you're starting requires you to develop all these new skill sets that you don't have, that is a whole other barrier that creates in you actually becoming successful in that business. As an example, if you're incredibly introverted, right? And you're great with operations, your brain just is constantly thinking about ways to optimize and to fix and to create smoother and more efficient ways of doing things. And you go into a business that's primarily sales driven, where you have to go out there and network all the time, you're probably not going to do as well with that business as if you focused on a business that was around that skill set of you being really good at operations, really good at creating efficiencies. So you want to start going towards a business that you naturally have skill sets and that you're gifted in already. Whatever business you're choosing has to have the right profit potential. That's number 6. The example is I got started in food franchises, right? And there are a ton of franchises out there that have great profit potential. Food's not one of them, by the way, in case you were wondering. Food is one of the lowest profit margin businesses that you could get into. So that's one of the things that I did not know getting into that business. And although I worked hard and did all these different things right, and I didn't quit and I didn't give up, and the business aligned with my skill sets, at the end of the day, if the standard in that business is a 10 or 12% profit margin, I'm probably not going to produce 25% profit margins. And so the question is, if I'm going to put forth all of this labor and this effort and time and energy and money, and I'm going to put up $300,000 to start a business, well, don't I want to maximize the highest possible return that I can on the business? So you want to make sure to get into a business that has a sufficient enough profit potential that aligns with your goals and the lifestyle that you're looking to create. And look, at the end of the day, the most important thing is that you choose a business and you stick with it. And just know this, that you will want to give up. You will have to work harder than you ever did in your life in the business. It will probably suck before it's awesome. And the work in business and entrepreneurship is front-loaded and the reward is back-loaded. What does that mean? It means that you're gonna have to front-load your effort, and you're gonna put in this much effort for this much reward in the beginning. And then at a certain point, if you build the business the right way, you'll be putting in that much effort for that much reward. And so the hardest part is just making it through that time period of putting in and front loading that effort. Now, if you enjoyed this video, I really feel confident that you're gonna like this video of me breaking down my 9 failed businesses and how I converted that into a $4.6 million entrepreneurial journey. I think you'll get a lot of value in it, and I'll look forward to seeing you on the next one.